Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bored and Annoyed. I'm Jackson.
And I am home at the movies.
And there's a new movie coming out based on, or adapted from, my favorite video game franchise of the last decade or two.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. That and more this week.
What else could matter, Jackson?
Nothing. It's true.
Welcome to Bored and Annoyed, guys. Bored and Annoyed. So first news, as always. Let's talk about what you just brought up.
Yeah, there's a Gears of War movie, and it's actually being written.
Yeah.
So this is one where there has been some talk about it for a while. I forget who owns the rights to the franchise, but someone like Paramount or somebody bought them a few years back. Dave Bautista has been lobbying, wanting to play Marcus Phoenix, who's the main character, who would be perfect in this, by the way. Yeah, I'm pretty excited, except for then I found out who was writing it.
Scott Fraser.
Who wrote the latest XXX movie, which you saw and I didn't.
Xander Cage. Return of Xander Cage.
So I feel like these movie studios are dumb because, okay, clearly video game movies aren't successful,
right,
by and large.
Right.
So let's just keep doing what we've been doing. Let's just keep hiring shitty fucking writers to make stupid action movies that aren't real movies.
Right.
And we'll just release them and try to make our budget back.
Yeah.
You know,
you're right.
And hope that for the best. No, but you could make like a real movie.
Yeah. You're right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, but the thing that I've learned is that Scott Fraser can write a stupid fucking movie, but at least it's entertaining.
That's so that's what I was interested in asking you about, because I remember you reviewed this on the show.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying like you weren't bored.
I was not bored at all. It was the most ridiculous movie I've ever seen.
Okay, so part of me feels like if they're taking it that way,
right? Like
there's some goofy characters. There's there's Coltrane, who's like he's the black character.
Wow, that's
yes.
Okay,
but he's like, hate to say it, he's like a total like, he's your cartoony like version, and I don't know how they don't get in trouble for this,
right?
But he's a fun character. I like him.
Okay.
And like I'm just thinking about people they could like cast as like Baird as like the goofy sidekick character, and I think Stephen Baldwin when I see him.
Okay.
Like the characters are very cartoony and like one-liner-esque.
Right.
So
maybe they're just embracing that.
So they must be.
You imagine that kind of like
Coltrane, isn't that just crazy?
You know what's weird is like initially you kind of like you texted me about this and you said this is stupid, and I'm like, yeah, but it'll probably be entertaining in a schlock stupid way. Now that I'm hearing more about it, I'm like, oh, this could be not only schlock stupid fun but also video game accurate.
I mean, that what I'm describing, I mean, that is the game. It's all the characters are like one-liner, dumb. Like the main character's voice
they're
is
like
just
giant meatheads.
Yeah, they're huge, right?
They're like He-Man looks like a wuss compared to these guys.
They're gigantic.
Like it's ridiculous.
Special effects wise, like if they do it right with the locust like coming out of the ground, I have like a script in my head for this.
Right.
I have this all mapped out in my head how I would do it. So that's where I'm
Special
a little afraid.
Episode coming.
Yeah, honestly, we should do that. We should do both of us come up with some idea for some shit.
Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, I'm excited, but I know it's going to be shit.
Right.
It's just going to be terrible.
Right.
So,
you're probably right. Probably right. Something along those lines. We also have Jordan Peele's production company, Monkey Paw, is set to do a like loose sequel to Candyman.
Yeah, so I heard it's a sequel. I'm hoping Tony Todd comes back.
Yeah, spiritual. What do they call it? Spiritual successors. I kind of think what they're selling it as.
I hope it's just a sequel.
Yeah.
And they just pretend Farewell to the Flesh and Candyman 3 never happened. Now this is apparently he's co-writing it too.
Yeah.
This is perfect for him.
Yeah.
Because he's a horror fan.
Yep.
And this movie is kind of in the vein of Get Out, where it has a lot to say about like racism, and the actual movie has something to say about like gentrification, all that kind of shit. So Jordan Peele's perfect.
Yeah, he actually said that Candyman and I believe it was Night of the Living Dead.
Okay.
Both had something huge and profound to say and do with African Americans in the horror genre.
That's his thing. He's into that. He was actually interviewed for that. There's that show that AMC does where and I can't remember the name of it. They did one for sci-fi. They did one for comics. I think it's like the history of horror or something.
Oh, okay.
Eli Roth was the host this year.
Oh.
And Jordan Peele's one of the main guys that he's interviewing about all the different properties. You can tell he loves the genre.
He knows his shit.
And he fucking crushed it with his first one.
Yes.
Or maybe it wasn't his first one, but I don't know. But
I believe it was.
yeah. I mean, perfect. Like when I read the news, I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I felt the exact opposite of the Gears of War news, where I'm like, I'm happy that's happening.
Right.
But I don't like how it's happening. This is just a perfect marriage. So.
Oh yeah. This is a perfect time, perfect guy, perfect. Everything is perfect. The stars have aligned.
Right.
What else do we have for this week? Oh, Paddington director is maybe set to do the Pinocchio live action remake.
Yes.
And additionally to that, Tom Hanks is in talks to play Geppetto.
Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
I'd be excited for this if we didn't have 7,432 other live-action Disney movies coming out.
Right.
They're blowing their load here pretty quick. Don't you think they could drag this out for like 10 years?
Yeah.
Like slow home video release schedules, high price, you know what I mean?
You know what's nuts is Mulan was supposed to also come out
too.
Mulan was supposed to come out this year also, but it got pushed back.
So right now, it's just Lion King and Aladdin.
And Dumbo.
And Dumbo. That's Dumbo.
3. And 2
in a year.
Yeah. And 2 of which were your biggest hits of all time during the Disney Renaissance.
Right.
So this is ridiculous. And those 2 are within like a month or 2 of each other. How in God's name was that a good idea?
They crushed it on the first one, right? Well, wait, what was the first one they came out with? Probably Cinderella, actually.
No, Maleficent was before that.
Okay, but that doesn't count because that's like a new story. You know what I'm saying? That's not them redoing a movie in live action. I forget which
one. It was either Jungle Book or Cinderella came out first.
Cinderella was first. I never saw it.
Okay.
I've heard it's good.
Cinderella is it's fine. It's fine.
But Jungle Book was awesome. I really liked Beauty and the Beast, too. I know that one wasn't quite as critically acclaimed, but I thought it was great.
I recently saw a video from a YouTuber named Lindsay Ellis.
Okay.
She's a bit left wing.
Okay.
But she made some really excellent points, things that I did not see in that, because I've only seen that movie in its entirety one time.
Okay.
And she makes some really, really solid points against the movie.
Like for what? Because it's a woman who's captive from some beast?
No. Like solid narrative points, solid changes that the movie made from the original that actually make it worse, or complicate issues that were very uncomplicated before that. So I was like, oh, wow, you're right. This is actually not as good as I had thought it was.
All right. Well, I probably won't agree with her. I thought it was really good. All I know is I sat in the theater, I watched the movie, I thought it was fucking great.
Yeah, I had a good time with it at the time. But when she pointed it out, it was like, oh, you're right.
Emma Watson wasn't very good, but the rest of it was good.
Right. But either way, too many Disney
movies, and I would love to see a Pinocchio movie.
And I'd love to see Tom Hanks in a Disney movie other than Toy Story. But fine. I mean, it's the Paddington director. We know it's going to be good, but it's strange because at this point we're feeling such fatigue that even
they haven't even come out yet.
Yeah, even though we're pretty sure it's going to be a good movie based on the talent behind it, we're still just not even excited.
The excitement level's not there, right?
That's nuts. But let's see what else. Oh, we got a buttload of Marvel news.
Okay,
let's start with the bad news first. Daredevil is canceled.
Yes. I knew that. That wasn't an excited yes, but that was a yes. I had heard that. Yes. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care that much. Like,
Right.
I thought I would be more upset to hear that, but I'm just so,
I think you were almost emotionally ready for it.
Yeah, I don't really mean, I'm so done with that.
Yeah. Well, and
It's not like they would have made another season for 2 more fucking years anyway.
Right. And season 3 felt like a really good sort of ending to the show overall.
Well, except for, I don't know, Kingpin's still around.
He's going to jail, though.
Oh, because that always stops him.
It's fair enough. It's fair enough. Yeah, apparently this was actually Netflix's, like, it was their call. It wasn't Disney's call.
Yeah, I heard that there, like, it probably isn't going to the Disney streaming service, which was my first thought. I was like, okay, this is just all too, like,
right.
But I don't know. Who knows? I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of Daredevil or Kingpin. So.
It's a really complicated situation because, I mean, you got Disney Plus, which is coming out, but these shows are borderline rated R.
Yes.
And their goal was to keep everything family oriented with Disney Plus.
That's a good point. So they're not even borderline rated R. I mean, they're R for sure.
Yeah. They're not a hard R, though. They don't have like
Punisher is.
They don't have intestines spilling out of people's stomachs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, Overlord was more R than those
I mean,
are R.
Okay, here's where I say you're wrong. There's a scene in the 2nd season of Daredevil where a guy implies that he's got kiddie porn in back, and the Punisher closes the door and fucking blows his head off. You can't put that in PG-13.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's PG-13.
I'm just saying it's R.
I'm just saying it's not as violent as it could be, and they don't show any nudity, so they're not going full R.
Okay.
But either way, so apparently this lost 57% from season 2 to season 3.
They have no one to blame but themselves for that.
Well, they don't market it.
They don't market it, and everybody's like, I'm done with this shit because all these fucking shows make me feel like they're eating my soul when I'm watching through them, so I'm not even excited when you drop 3.
Right.
And we've talked about that on this show before.
You're right. And apparently Netflix, and this is where it's kind of both Disney or Marvel TV or whatever, and Netflix's fault, is because apparently Netflix actually wanted the seasons to be shorter. And Marvel was like, no. And the reason is that if it was shorter, then they wouldn't get paid as much.
Okay.
So not a good call on anybody's part.
Nope.
But I think it's complicated because now it's like you're hurting your series that are coming out later. Like Jessica Jones. I don't think that's going to do as well. I think that you're going to see
Is it happening for sure?
Season 3 is filming. And Punisher season...
who's going to watch that now?
I know. Well, and Punisher season 2 is done filming and it's in post-production now. So it's like nobody's going to watch these now because they know it's just going to be canceled 2 weeks. I mean, it's already canceled, but it's going to be canceled 2 weeks after it airs.
That is so dumb.
It's just weird to me. You know what I mean? It's a strange thing. Some people are saying they might reboot these things.
I feel like there's no way that Daredevil's over. I just can't. I can't accept that.
But what do you? It's sort of like the Wonder Woman problem for DC. Do you keep the one thing that worked out of the pile of shit?
I mean, you can with this.
I feel like nobody else is up to snuff except for Daredevil.
Well, you did a season of Daredevil without the other characters really popping up.
Fair enough.
So you could just keep doing that.
Okay. Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
But eventually they're going to want to touch these characters. So do you just reboot all of them except
it's its own thing, and whatever you want to do, you do.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm thinking the other reason that they're getting rid of it is there's a comic writer named Mark Millar.
Okay.
He came up with Kick-Ass. Came up with a bunch of other things. He was the original writer of Marvel's Civil War.
I was going to say, I think I have some Mark Millar in my collection.
He's a pretty good writer.
Yeah.
And they picked up like what's called the Millarverse, which is all the books that he's written that are sort of independent works that aren't owned by.
They're just
Disney.
like random. Okay.
Yeah. So. That's going to be probably their superhero content.
That'll be the next thing they hammer into the fucking ground.
Hopefully they do a better job. Let's see. Keep on going with the Marvel news. Shang-Chi.
Excuse me?
Shang-Chi. Marvel is developing a Shang-Chi movie.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
He's a martial artist.
Okay, well,
in the Marvel,
I could have guessed that.
in the Marvel universe. Oh, what are you trying to say there, Jackson?
No, he's a builder. He's an architect.
Hey,
I suppose architect actually makes sense. If you were to tell me, like,
what are you saying? He had to be a mathematician or a martial artist?
It was an educated guess.
That's awful.
It's not awful. I was right, wasn't I?
You were right.
Yes, thank you.
You were right.
Although if I heard like Qui-Gon Jinn, I would have been like, oh, that's probably like, an Asian martial artist.
I suppose.
You know what I mean?
I suppose. But yeah, they're making his movie. I feel like they looked at Crazy Rich.
What's his name again?
Shang-Chi.
Okay. Quan Chi was where I was actually going with this. Because,
Quan Chi?
Yeah, he was a character in Mortal Kombat 4. And the nerds will love me for bringing that up. But
Quan Chi.
Chi.
Which one was he?
He was like this dude. He had like a kind of a bluish suit, and he had almost like a skull-looking head. I think he took over for Shang Tsung in the plot or something.
Yep,
but yeah,
I remember
Shang-Chi. So who ripped off who here?
Well, I believe Shang-Chi came out in like the 70s.
All right.
So
win goes to Marvel.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they're making this movie. I think they looked at Crazy Rich Asians and said, I want some.
You think that's the move?
I do.
Oh, well, hey,
there's a market.
That's what you do, I guess.
We realized it with Black Panther. We realized it with Crazy Rich Asians. That is a good point. So, yeah, let's do it. The Russo brothers recently did a thing with a Collider where they answered a bunch of questions on Infinity War.
Nice.
And somebody asked some things about Chris Evans being done as Captain America.
He's not done.
Apparently not.
Okay.
So you excited for that?
Yeah, because it means he was trolling me when he wrote his stupid tweet that I got all like, what the fuck are you saying this for? Don't give anything away. But clearly he's not done.
All he said was that he was emotional. He didn't say he was saying goodbye to the
Alex. Role. You don't think he knows what he's thinking? Like, this is what they're going to think?
Maybe he's just emotional. He just did we have a president who tweets emotionally all the time. Telling me an actor can't do that?
That's a good point.
So,
but he's also trolling.
That's true. That's true. Emotional trolling. Did we learn something? Did we learn something about trolls just now? That they're emotional?
Yeah, they're very emotional. Or they want you to be emotional.
One of the two.
Yeah.
But the thing that has me speculating a little bit on this is maybe... See, Chris Evans wants to direct. He sort of wants to slow down on acting, and he wants to direct. Maybe he's going to make some cameos in like the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, but maybe he's directing it.
Oh, maybe. Sure.
Because they didn't just say he's not done. They said he's not done and fans will be surprised with what's coming.
Okay.
So I'm kind of excited for that. What else do we have? Oh, yeah. Last night, Captain Marvel trailer. This is the last piece of news.
I didn't think it was a bad trailer, but I thought she looked bad. I thought Brie Larson's line delivery in that trailer and just her monotone nature was awful. But I'm not seeing it in context, so I can't give, I
have a hard time with it. I think you're right, because apparently the arc for the movie, and this is where it's like,
no spoilers here, right?
It's not spoilers because it's in the trailer. But the arc is that she's going to learn to become emotional again because of like her human history, and the Kree are very unemotional people. So that's sort of
she's like a Spock.
Kind of, yeah. I think that's sort of like the idea. But the problem is that I only know that through trades and stuff like that on the industry. If I can't get that from the trailer, everybody's going to have the reaction that you had, which is, why is she so wooden?
She looked terrible. Like, that was just my opinion as a casual viewer.
And I don't think she looked terrible, but I think she looked a little wooden.
Right.
And
I don't think she's bad. I mean, she was great in Room.
So. Yeah, and she was great in Scott Pilgrim. I mean, she's a great actress. Overall, I thought the trailer was fine, but not great.
It is funny too. I know before I even saw the trailer, I saw the little side-by-side clip of like her and Iron Man flying around, and it's like it's like the exact fucking same thing.
Yep. I did like that shot. I felt like
it looks cool. I'm just it does. It looks like the same fucking character almost.
Well, she's a fucking Super Saiyan though.
There you go.
That was the thing that
this
I liked.
This is a Dragon Ball Z movie?
All it's proving is that one can be made.
All right.
And if anything else, I'm a little concerned because I feel like two things are happening. One, Marvel is relying on the Marvel brand on this, and they're not putting their best foot forward as far as marketing goes. Because I actually feel like I haven't been let down by a Marvel trailer in quite a while. And
this is like the worst one you've seen in a while?
It's the worst one I've seen in quite a while.
Okay.
And it's still fine.
Well,
but is it pumping me up? Not really.
I was talking to someone about this, like a DC fan, actually, who like wants Marvel to fuck up.
Right.
Because, you know.
Yep.
And I'm like, he's like, yeah, it doesn't look very good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but you know it's probably going to be good, right?
Yes.
That was my point. Like,
but that's the problem is they're resting on their laurels because, I mean, I know it's probably going to at least be decent because they just don't make awful movies.
I want to see more of like whatever alien shit is going on. That's what I'm interested in.
Exactly.
Because I've already seen all the other shit. I want to see like some Green Lantern-ish type shit.
Well, because all the space shit was the cool shit in the trailer.
Right.
Every single bit. But it was so interspersed. It felt like they weren't ready for a trailer. Once again, I feel like I'm seeing somebody who, we finished our money shot. Oh, cool. So you have one shot that's like impressive?
Oh, and they shouldn't have shown that the old lady was an alien or whatever. They should have just let that be. I mean, you knew it, but
yeah,
they shouldn't have done that.
I felt like that was a internet response bit.
We know. Right.
Yeah. Like, I was like, oh, come on.
That was
this is how you choose to open it? So
when are we getting an Avengers 4 trailer is the question.
That is sort of continuing this just block of Marvel news. So the rumor was we were going to get one on Wednesday. Now we don't know.
As we're recording, that would be tomorrow.
Yes. So originally, the rumor was it was going to be last week. Then they pushed it to this week to Wednesday.
Okay.
Now the rumor
How
is...
How excited are you to see just a trailer?
Dude, come on. I've been like fighting the urge to just go on Facebook like day 697 without Avengers 4 trailer.
Well,
like, you know.
What's fucked up is like if you looked hard enough on Reddit and like 4chan and shit, you could probably just go ruin the entire movie for yourself.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
It's tempting, isn't it, though, to know what happens?
Actually, not really.
Come on, Alex.
I'm not a spoiler
I don't like
guy.
it either.
I don't like spoilers like at all. So, yeah, if you're going to like tweet at us or anything, don't tweet spoilers. Be a dick.
No, I still think that the people who tweeted that or spread around that Han Solo died in Force Awakens, and that doesn't count as a spoiler, people. It's been long enough.
Right.
So fuck off.
Right.
That they deserve to rot in hell. I'm not kidding. I fucking think you have to be a true piece of shit.
That's true.
Yes.
I mean, the whole point is literally to ruin a movie for another individual.
If you ask me for forgiveness, I would grant it.
Nah.
It is horrible, isn't it?
I feel like a person who does that would not be sincere in their apology.
If you're purposely doing that, it's designed. I had a buddy who was on like an NFL discussion about football when that was happening, and that's where it got spoiled.
See, that's assholes. Absolute, nothing to do with anything. I did see that.
Kind of funny though. That's what's awful.
Like I was lucky in that I had already seen the movie, but I was on like a comic book related thread, and then all of a sudden somebody comes in and pops in and says it, and a couple people are like, "Oh, you asshole!" But I'm like, it's been like 2 days. If you really wanted to see Star Wars, you would have seen it. But also, the rumor is we're supposed to get, going back to like Marvel Week, we're supposed to maybe get Spider-Man Far From Home trailer coming this week also.
Jesus. Well, you can't do that. Can you do that before you bring him back?
See, I don't know. Like, I don't.
That's fucking bizarre.
How are they going to market these things?
I think everyone knows. So who gives a shit?
That might be
Although,
it.
yeah, you're right, because there's got to be some shit that happens. I don't know which one's coming. I think Avengers is coming first, right? So there's got to be shit in Avengers that happens that affects his story in the Spider-Man movie.
The only way that I could see this working to their benefit, 3 trailers in 1 week, is we do something in the Avengers trailer that makes you go like, oh shit, like Captain Marvel shows up or whatever.
Right.
So you link them. And in that regard, then you actually build the hype up in turn for both Avengers 4 and Captain Marvel.
Sure.
But then you build hype for Spider-Man Homecoming by placing nuggets is like, oh my God, how did that happen? I have to see Avengers 4 in Spider-Man
Or you just
Far
cut
From
the
Home.
trailer in a way where you only are seeing stuff that's like not related.
Maybe.
I mean,
maybe. Yeah.
Is Jake Gyllenhaal confirmed in Spider-Man?
He is confirmed.
That's fucking awesome.
It's going to be good. He's playing Mysterio, fucking fishbowl on his head. This is going to be great. Fucking Academy Award nominated. Fucking, Gyllenhaal. It's going to be good.
I love Gyllenhaal.
I do love Gyllenhaal. You want to go into shit we watched?
Yeah, I could not have two polar opposite things to talk about this week. The first thing I watched was the animated Alice in Wonderland.
The original.
The original.
Ooh.
I hadn't seen it since I was a kid.
Okay.
So I didn't remember it much.
Trippy as fuck.
I never saw the Tim Burton version either.
Oh, good.
Good. Okay.
Good call.
It's okay. It's one of their lesser classics in my opinion.
You're right.
Yeah, it's very trippy and fun and whatever. There's no narrative there though.
I feel like it's fully and completely designed for drug culture. I don't feel like it's meant for, straight Joe Schmo.
Kids that are like, they don't follow narratives anyway,
Right.
and it's just song and dance numbers.
Right,
I mean,
but there's
it's neat.
so much psychedelic shit in there, and like there is like
the fucking
hookahs,
caterpillar hitting the hookah.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, none of it really makes any sense. I mean, we were watching it, and I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, like, is there anything to follow here? And I asked the fiance too, because she's seen the Tim Burton one. I'm like, the Tim Burton one has to have like a narrative story, not like this, right? And she's like, yeah, that's the case. So I'm intrigued to see that.
Kind of.
This one is literally like 10 music videos attached, and all it is a dream. Spoilers.
I hate Johnny Depp in the new one as the Mad Hatter. I feel like he's awful.
Well, in this one, I was thinking, because I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm trying to find the theme, the message. Like, it's a Disney movie for kids. There's got to be like some warm, heartwarming message, right?
Don't take drugs.
Don't take drugs, or do take drugs, or don't just like follow a stranger. I mean, honestly, that's as far as I could get.
It's a bit of a cautionary tale. Maybe don't go wandering.
Yes, there you go. Maybe. Yeah, that could be it.
I mean, she almost got her head chopped off.
But it's a fun time, though. Like, she meets cool people. Like, if you were a kid and you watch that, you'd be like, oh, this neat. Like, we're talking to the flowers.
It's all a little unsettling, though. Even when she sees, like, the rabbit and the Mad Hatter and all that shit, she's having tea. Those dudes are still a little creepy.
She does not enjoy that tea scene.
No,
you're right. And the Queen of Hearts.
Yeah.
Some of the animation is awesome.
Yeah.
Like the actual heart soldiers that are like, being like, they're being like shuffled and shit. And some of that is awesome.
What's with the, what's that cat? The cat that
the Cheshire cat.
The Cheshire cat.
Yeah, whose like head is removed. And he like.
I mean, when was this? Do you know who like originally wrote this and stuff?
There's a book.
Yeah.
Like Robert Louis Stevenson no, I don't think it was him, but no, there's a book, and apparently Walt Disney, because I watched like a little 15 to 20 minute like special features thing that was on the Blu-ray.
Okay.
And apparently Walt Disney was like obsessed with making this, and it took him forever to come up with anything that you could like turn this into a movie for, because it was just such a weird story and you had to come up with something. And this is what they did.
I'm not so sure he succeeded. Because it is, I mean, you're right. It's one of their lessers and it's not awful, but it is so nonsensical. And more often than not, the people who really like it are people who like to smoke pot.
Yes,
and that's fine.
What's funny is here we are shitting on. I mean, it's a classic.
It is a classic.
I was disappointed. Which I mean, I still enjoyed myself. It's a short watch.
Right.
It's fun. Has neat little musical numbers in it.
Yeah.
I like the rabbit. Like I'm late. Ooh,
Yeah.
I like the characters.
Enough. Yeah.
But it's not like a real movie. Ooh, that hurts for a lot of people out there. But it's not. It's no Snow White and the Seven Dwarves or fucking
Agreed.
It's no Bambi.
It's not even close.
No.
I mean, nobody's crying at the end.
Right. There's none of that in this.
It's just
she's really fucking dumb. Alice is dumb as shit.
That's true.
Like, she eats one of those cookies and turns into a giant, and then like 5 minutes later, she sees another cookie, and she's like, "Oh, cookie!" and eats it, and she turns into a fucking giant again. She's an idiot.
I haven't seen this in years, so you're like refreshing me. That's so true. I don't know. There's that like little mini, the door that's like talks to her, like the doorknob. Just kick that fucker open.
That's true.
Fuck that guy. You were a giant.
And the doorknob's like, "Oh, you need the key." It's like, okay, well, you are the doorknob.
Yeah, why don't you just
unlock the fucking door?
Why don't you just not be a dick, man?
Yes, correct.
You could just be a nice guy.
But that's not the point.
What is the point? You already asked that. What is the point?
I don't know. I don't know. Someone want to tweet us?
The world is full of creepy assholes. Don't take drugs before you go on an adventure.
Let me know what the message is to this movie. Not the. I'm sure the classic book probably has something. I would assume.
Maybe.
Even the Tim Burton movies, I'm sure there's something.
Dude, opium was a big thing at the time. Maybe it had no point.
This is acid or mushrooms. It's got to be.
That's true.
But that's enough for that movie. What'd you watch?
I watched The Raid Redemption.
Oh, God, it's so good.
It was pretty good.
Is this your first time seeing this?
I've seen the original Raid, but not Raid Redemption.
Wait a minute. No, The Raid Redemption is the name of the original.
No, it's just called The Raid. I believe.
No, I think there's a name. I have it over there, but we're doing this live. You're not editing this.
That's fine.
Because one of us is going to look like an asshole, and it's going to be me, I think. Yeah, because it wasn't 2.5 hours. So, yeah, no. Yeah, you better cut this, Alex.
Well, the weird thing was I thought that there was the Raid 2.
No, you're right. Nope, I'm right. Raid Redemption's the first one. The Raid 2 is the second one.
What the fuck?
Correct.
That makes zero sense.
Well, he's getting redemption, isn't he, in the first one? I think the Raid Redemption 2011, that's the first one where he's stuck in the building. Is that the one you watched, or did you watch the Raid 2?
I must have watched the Raid. Well, I mean, I watched the one where he was stuck in the building.
Okay.
But now I'm really, really confused because
you had seen it and forgotten it so much that you thought you were watching the sequel?
I must have seen the Raid 2 and thought it was Raid 1 then. Or something.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. This is
either
the first
way,
time.
They're fucking good.
I liked the other one more because there was more hand-to-hand combat. I don't even think it's close. I think really?
The first one's way better. Yeah, the second one's really good. They tried to do more with it. It's bigger in scope. It's like he goes to other places, But the first one, man, it's just so intense in that fucking apartment building.
Yes,
yeah.
It was very what's the Dread? It was very Dread.
Well, Dread was very it.
Yes. Yeah. I had a very.
It's funny because those came out like around the same time.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. I guess we could just say they both die-hearted it also.
Yes, true.
But really good movie, great choreography, great music.
I love that actor too. It's a shame that Mile 22 movie sucked balls.
Yes, he's actually a good actor, which I was surprised. The sort of like emotional core is sort of very thin on it because it's like, oh, he's got a wife.
Right.
And she's pregnant.
Well, that's not the point, though. I mean,
it's not the point of the movie.
Locked in a building,
go. You're right. I'm just saying, like, there's virtually no like sort of emotional punch to the movie.
True.
It's a straight action.
Yes.
Kung fu movie.
God, they know how to do it though.
It was fucking great.
Isn't it hilarious? Like I think about that Mile 22 movie. They're going for like that audience, like the action, fucking martial arts, guns, whatever.
Yeah.
And they just fail compared to that fucking movie, which is amazing, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like all of the action is so fucking good.
I don't even know how they do it.
Really imaginative.
Yes.
Really imaginative.
Some of the hallway fights and shit.
Some of my favorites were when the camera would actually it would just be like this ceiling shot.
Okay.
And you just sort of like, it was just a different shot that you're not used to seeing in these fight scenes. And that was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved that he had a brother. I'm just going to go into spoilers because I just sort of
assumed. It's been out for 7 years.
Yeah.
See it, though, if you haven't.
Yeah, definitely see it. I'd probably give it like, I mean, I almost want to give it like 2 separate grades because like choreography, it's an A+. Action and choreography, it's an A+.
Yeah, but you're big on that emotional core narrative shit.
But as far as just like a movie with a narrative and like an emotional punch, it's probably like a B.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's some of the best action you'll ever see as far as like
I'm grading this on the Jackson curve, which says that shit doesn't matter in this.
Right.
Well, I'd give it like an A.
Yeah, this is an A+ as far as an action movie.
You don't see much like it.
It's fucking amazing. The scene where the one guy is fighting. He's like one of the henchmen to the main bad guy. And he's like that short dude.
Yep.
And he has the dude at gunpoint, and he's like, I was never a fan of these. And he like takes like, the clip out, he takes the bullet out and the round out. And he's like, puts out his hands and he just sort of opens and closes them. This is how I work. And he just proceeds to kick the shit out of like the captain for this team. And you're like, this dude is so small, but he's just like a whirlwind of like
they're
death.
Getting some legit motherfuckers in those movies to fight.
Yes.
Like, it's really awesome, man.
It was awesome.
And I don't even remember the main actor's name. The guy could be huge, in my opinion.
I think he could be probably like the next Bruce Lee or next Jet Li, Jackie Chan, whatever.
Right, and it sounds like hyperbole to say that. But he's a really good actor. Like
he is.
I think he's a better. I like Jackie Chan. Don't get me wrong. He's good at his shtick.
Yes.
But as far as like an actor, I think he's better. And his Iko Uwais, something like that.
Yeah. Well, he was in Star Wars, and they really sort of wasted him there too.
Which one was he in?
Force Awakens.
Which character was he?
I believe he was one of like the mobsters that. I believe.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
You know what, though? I think one of the characters in the raid was.
Yeah, one of the
longer-haired guy.
Was it him? Okay.
I think so.
Well, that was one of the big things. Is like, we're getting the raid guys to be in Star Wars, which was like the big headline.
Right.
But then all of a sudden you're
it's not him. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I'm looking at his movies, and it's like, okay, well, maybe I should see some of these, but... The one American one that he made, that Mile 22 that came out a couple months ago, is fucking terrible. So.
Yeah, well, and that's not his fault.
Right.
But I will say there were, and this is just something that you deal with a kung fu movie, there are a few things where you're like, but why did you do that?
Well, because you want more action scene.
Right. Because there are times where somebody will slam somebody into the wall, like their head into the wall.
Okay.
Like it was the two brothers versus, little man. Little Monster. I'll just call him Little Monster because he was fucking crazy. They're both fighting him, and at one point the main guy like slams his head into the wall, and then he throws him away from the wall. I was like, no, keep slamming his head into the wall until he stops you.
Sure, but
I mean that's just that. It's a nitpick, but it is something that I think of like, okay, if this were a real fight. Nobody would take their hands off you unless you force them to take their hands. No, and
there's a lot of moves they pull off where you're like, why would you waste the time to do that?
Yes, like a flip or something. Right. So, but it looks cool as fuck and it's entertaining.
Yeah,
so
that's one. Even spoilers aside, if anybody hasn't seen it, it doesn't matter. If somebody, it's just amazing.
It's just a good ride.
Right.
So yeah, that was one of the big ones I watched. What else did you watch?
I watched an action movie.
Okay.
For the first time all the way through, I have seen bits of these. I watched First Blood, which is the first Rambo movie.
Right.
It's really good.
I have only seen bits of this as well.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's as far as like an emotional core and something to say, it's up your alley because it's basically guy comes back from the war.
Yeah.
His PTSD is fucked around with by these like crooked cops.
Yeah.
Who like treat him like shit.
Yep.
And he goes out into the woods and the cops come try to, arrest him. And he's having none of it. He's back in war.
First Blood.
And it gets kind of emotional. I mean, this is the shit that I feel like Sylvester Stallone needs to get more credit for.
Right. Well, he has like an emotional breakdown in this.
Yes, towards the end.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
Because, he talks about like, coming back from the war and how he was treated by the people who, were anti-war at the time.
Yeah.
He like there's a big anti-war part of the movie too, but he's just a fucking badass. And Brian Dennehy is in this. He was Tommy's dad, Tommy Senior and Tommy Boy.
Oh, okay.
He's been in a bunch of shit.
Right.
But he plays like the cop, the sheriff who's like super full of pride, and like they bring in the National Guard and shit or whatever, and the local cop's like, no, like this is my job, like
right.
blah 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 blah. And you've got the scene, which I always love, like John Wick had a scene like this, and John Wick, it was like he finds out that his son fucked with John Wick, and he's like, you fucked with the wrong guy.
Right.
And in this one, like Rambo's general or captain or whatever comes to, and he just tells him like, yeah, you can bring all these fuckers you want, you better bring a lot of body bags, like that kind of shit, which always gets my like, yeah, it's a dude movie. It is, but it's good, man. I plan on watching the rest of them.
Okay.
I would imagine they're not as good.
Yeah, I mean, I know that, what was it? The newest one.
The latest one.
The newest one was just called Rambo. And actually, it's funny because...
I've heard it's violent as hell,
yes.
that latest one.
And apparently, Stallone is going to make one more
There's
Rambo.
one more coming. So that was kind of what made me think I should watch this.
And you know what else? I'm just going to throw this out there, too. I missed this piece of news. I forgot to mention it here. Apparently, Sylvester Stallone is done as Rocky.
Perfect spot to put it. Yeah. I'm shocked.
I'm not a fan of it.
No, me neither. I think you brought it up last week, and it made me sad just thinking about it. The death of Rocky movie.
But we need that. We don't just forget about Rocky.
Yeah.
And we certainly don't do Creed 3 where Rocky's dead
That's
already.
That's what they're doing. That has to be it, right?
That's the only way they can do it, because they can't just be like, oh.
Yeah, you didn't like that news either. I didn't like it.
No. He needs a death.
I would agree.
He's too important to the mythos, and he's too important to like cinema history.
It just seems bizarre to me, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
It seems strange. Like, what the fuck happened? Wouldn't this have been like part of the marketing leading up to this? Wouldn't they have killed him off in this movie?
In all honesty, I think it's something that Sylvester came to after the movie came out.
He's just done.
Maybe.
Honestly.
He needs a send off. He needs a proper send off.
And I'm not saying like the movies can't survive with Michael B. Jordan, because I really like Creed. Like I like the story, I like the character, whatever. You can continue it,
but it's a formula,
right?
Who are you going to get to be the grizzled coach?
Who's been like our death in this Rocky series? Like, has there been any?
There hasn't been.
No,
any. And there needs to be one.
Rocky then. Yeah.
I don't know, it's frustrating. Just frustrating.
I agree. But yes, sorry about that diatribe.
No, that's fine. You're apologizing to the audience, not
to
me.
you. I don't give a fuck what you think. And you started the diatribe.
That's true. I did.
I was apologizing on behalf of you.
Fair enough. So I finally watched The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Okay, finally. Well, we reviewed it last week. You're not that far behind.
You reviewed it last week.
What did you think?
I thought it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's good.
The first one is fucking hilarious.
It is funny.
Buster Scruggs is great. He's just this likable character, sings all these songs, totally unassuming, totally nice sort of, oh shucks sort of guy.
Yeah.
But deadly as fuck. And he's also nihilistic, which I love. He's so nice, but he's nihilistic as hell. Pessimistic about his fellow man.
He's played by Tim Blake Nelson.
Which is just fantastic. Do you know he's 5'5"?
Oh, I believe it. He plays this kind of character perfectly.
Yes,
he was great. My favorite character in another Coen Brothers movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Too.
He was great. That whole skit was great.
Yes.
The ending was particularly fantastic.
I thought it was good as well.
Then there are some other ones that are in there that are pretty damn good. I liked the Liam Neeson one, though the way that you told that story was actually better than the story.
Oh, you think so?
The way that you delivered it was fucking hilarious. I was rolling, and then when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh man, I feel bad for this guy."
Well, right. Well, so that's where So it's like one of those dark humor things where it's disturbing.
Yeah, but
if you break it down in your head,
it's funny.
It is funny.
Yes. So then there was the one about the woman who her brother died, and that was a great one.
That might have been my favorite one overall, because that one felt like, okay, you could expand. This is like a legit movie here.
Right. And was that J.K. Simmons who was the older guy?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I thought you said J.K. Simmons was in this.
I don't think
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Brendan Gleeson, I mentioned, I think.
Yeah. Okay. That's what it was. I liked the one with him.
You said
that was the
my
one you
least
didn't.
favorite one.
I liked
but
it.
At that point, I think I was kind of like,
I get it.
I was falling out of the movie.
Right.
So yeah, I mean,
I loved that was a conversational piece.
it was
Character
one
dialogue.
room, right?
And it was pretty damn great. I also loved the fact that, and I'm just going to do spoilers here, people. I'm sorry. I liked the fact that, it's sort of like these two bounty hunters, and they're talking about like, people seeing things before they die.
Yes.
And then they go to this town, and if you look at the background, like the building that they're going into is real, but the buildings behind them are like fake buildings. They're just storefronts. And I'm like, oh man, are you guys dead? Are you guys dead?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is pretty good. This is pretty artsy. And I also liked, I wouldn't say I liked all the characters, but I actually liked all the interactions. I thought they were really funny.
I mean, the actors are good.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I love the James Franco one. That one was a pretty good bit.
So that one was the other one that I thought was okay. None of them I thought were bad. I know you had mentioned that you weren't into the Gold Digger guy.
The Gold Digger one was really it was beautiful, by the way. Like,
that's what got me on it.
I could not believe it was almost like one of these, like, look at how beautiful this country is, and like look at what we as humans do.
It's true.
And I almost feel like that was kind of the point. I almost do.
It's like the undisturbed portion, and the only time anything fucked up happens is when we show up, and the animals know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought that one was pretty damn boring and long until the shadow appears behind him and a dude comes to shoot him.
I was getting a kick out of that old dude, just him digging, like, for 5 pieces.
I'm coming for you, Mr. Shiny, or whatever the fuck he called it.
Right. Yep.
That was good. That was good. But I really liked that the dude, like, you understood what the dude was doing. He shot the old man in the back.
Yes.
And he's just waiting there, and he's like, I'm just going to wait this out and see if the dude's actually dead. And the blood is soaking in the shirt.
That was really well done, too.
Yes. That was when it became good. Before that, I thought it was pretty boring and tedious. And I understand it was the point of sort of setting up,
correct,
like, the pacing of the story, and also the realism of, like, this is probably what it'd be like if you were a gold digger, like a literal gold digger. So overall, I turned around on it. It was fine. Before that, I didn't like it. So,
spoilers. The ending of the one with the dead brother.
the one with the dead brother.
With the Oregon Trail one.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
Fucking, I was not expecting that.
I liked it.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah.
It was
awful.
Dark. It was dark.
And then he has to go back and like tell the other guy, like, oh, you finally found someone and you're out.
Yep.
Sorry.
At the end of the day, even though I liked that one quite a bit, I found the woman to be a bit
annoying.
I thought she was a bit. I thought she was a bit stupid.
Yeah.
She didn't seem to have much for survival skills.
You're
or
right.
Survival instincts.
She was very. She was almost like a feminist would watch this and be like, "Oh, come on."
Yeah. And it probably was I would say relatively realistic at the time, considering like her relationship with her brother.
Right. And he was kind of a jackass.
He was a jackass and an idiot, but he also sheltered her to death, which probably just hampered her in life overall, which is the way I read it. But it also was just frustrating because I was like, nothing good is going to happen to you because you are just beholden to the world.
Right.
The world is going to blow you wherever it wants. And that's exactly what happened.
I really liked both of the performances by the dudes, the guy who's going to marry her and the old guy.
I loved the old guy.
He was great. So,
because that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was great. It just keeps on going on about that bit. But yeah, it was pretty damn good. I'd give it like a B.
Yeah.
Like
I think it's a
overall.
little better than that, but I mean, there's some people saying it's their favorite Coen Brothers movie, which I think is a little going.
I think that's a bit much.
Yes.
Maybe it's a B plus. I wouldn't call it like. I don't think it's an A minus because
I wouldn't mind more of this kind of shit though.
Right. As an idea, it's
Yes.
one of my favorite things because it's just little vignettes
Right.
of the time period. And it made me realize how much I missed the Western, the
Oh, God.
traditional Western. Without any sort of twist on it, just the Western.
Right.
And it was good. I really liked it. Probably, you know what? B+. B+. Feeling generous.
I can't remember. I think that's probably what I gave it last
I think that is probably what you gave it. So theater viewing, what'd you do?
I saw the new king of worst movie of the year this weekend.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh my God. And this will all get reevaluated,
Right.
because I understand there's hyperbole involved.
Mm-hmm.
The Possession of Hannah Grace.
Right. So that's the one where like a body comes into a morgue and a woman, like she's the only one there, and that woman died of exorcism, and then she starts haunting the morgue. Like that's the basic.
That's the gist.
That's the gist.
So it was funny because when I looked I saw this, I didn't realize it was coming out. I had seen previews, and there was a movie on the list called Cadaver.
Oh, right.
That's the movie. But the movie's not called Cadaver.
Live, die, repeat.
Yeah, apparently.
Tomorrow never dies.
But whether it's called Cadaver
Right.
or The Possession of Hannah Grace, neither title makes any sense. Like the movie opens with the possession scene. Like the first scene is like her dad and the priest and shit, and they're
Right.
doing an exorcism, and the dad kills her.
Okay.
That's the opening scene. The lady, first of all, her biggest power in this is that when she's a demon or whatever, she can make people like float and throw them, like using like the force type push thing.
Okay.
And like a priest fucking gets slammed into this fucking cross, and like it slams through his head and kills him, whatever. Ugh. So right away I looked over at who I was with and I was like, this is awful. Like immediately. But yeah, so the body comes into the morgue.
Sorry,
and I'm kind of upset you haven't seen this because this is one where like you'd be chewing on every fucking thing. Body comes into the morgue. She's an ex-cop, and we know that because there's a scene where like she's being shown, it's her new job.
Yes.
And she's being shown around the basement and the morgue and stuff, and he's like, you got to get used to bad smells being around here. I was a cop. I'm used to bad smells. That's a line. I'm not fucking with you. That's a line in the movie. She's an addict, which they thought probably was like some, thematic element to the movie that made it more interesting or whatever. Like they tried to make Shay Mitchell's the actress's name.
Okay.
They tried to make her character like interesting and have things going on with her.
Okay.
But she's not because the movie's terrible. Decent performance by her. I think she doesn't like break the movie or anything. But the possession aspect of this, basically the gist is it's a dead body and it kills people. And every time it kills someone, it goes back to rest in like the drawer because it heals. So the dad, so the way it got brought in, like the possession happened 3 months ago. And then the cops found some guy like carving up this body in an alley, and they brought it in or whatever. And so come to find out the dad is trying to kill her because it's not his daughter anymore. So
Right.
Hannah Grace is long gone. There is nothing beyond the first scene of like,
the possession
yes, it's
of
just
Hannah
a
Grace.
dead body that gets up, kills someone, rinse, repeat. And every time it does it, it heals a bit more. That's the movie.
Okay.
You wait for things to happen. They don't happen. Shit doesn't make any sense. It's poorly edited. There's a scene where it was in the trailer where the main character wakes up. Like, I forget what you call that. The drawer where you put the dead bodies. Like she wakes up in there, but she was just upstairs, like in the lobby of the hospital. And there's someone downstairs. So like she would have had to have gotten past the guy who was in the morgue to get to the drawer.
So was this meant to be creepy? Was she like, oh, I woke up in the thing? Or was this just like,
I mean, it was supposed to be scary because it would be scary for that to happen.
Right.
But it was just, I don't understand the editing of it. Like I was like, wait a minute. Like there was times during this movie, multiple times where I'm like, I'm lost. How the fuck did they get there? You know, like, how did she get here? Did I miss something?
No.
And by the way,
because creepy, Jackson.
Well, that's the other thing. I'm done with the like walking around like the contortionist demon characters that are in all of these movies. Like,
oh,
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it's done. It's done. It doesn't creep anyone out. There's nothing. Okay, that shit is creepy and it's scary if I know Hannah Grace.
Right.
Like, I hate seeing this happen to her.
Right.
Yeah,
Terrible thing.
No, fucking terrible. Movie's terrible. The movie ends just the dumbest fucking nonsensical ending.
Wasn't there a bit, I saw it in the trailers, where the eye rolls out?
It's not an eye. It's a rubber band ball that she uses when she's bored to like bounce it up. But I think, and I could be wrong, I think in the trailer there was like a trail of blood behind that as it was rolling. No, that blood's not there.
Oh. Why would they bother either adding or removing that to the trailer? As if that makes it any better.
I don't know. There's also a scene in this where a guy breaks in. He breaks in, and this is spoilers. Fuck it. The dad breaks in because he wants to put his daughter into the crematorium.
Right.
Cremator.
Right.
He's like, the only way to dispatch of the demon is to cremate her. Whatever.
How does he know that?
I don't know.
Was that your criticism?
Well, she actually, the fiance said that, and I'm like, the only thing I can think of is like, if there's nothing there, he must assume. But he does. He acts like he knows that.
The most irritating thing, like, and I'm not big on this kind of stuff. I'm not big on like these spiritual ghosty things. But they actually say burning things that are like haunted
is bad.
Is like a bad thing.
Well, my thing would be, that's an easy problem to solve. Like the guy could just be like, look, I've tried everything else.
Right.
I've tried everything else. The only thing I can think is turn it into ash. But that's not what he says.
Right.
He's like, the only way to dispatch of the You know, you've seen it, like the like that type of shit. But so he comes in and attacks her.
I shot him 6 times.
Right. Yeah. No, he attacks her. Okay. And then he gets arrested and shit. And they just leave her there alone. And her friend comes down who also works at the hospital and is like, hey, look, you can go home, whatever. And she's like, I need to do this. Like, because she's an addict? I mean, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And that was funny, too, because the fiance looked at me and goes, why? Why does she need to do this? It doesn't make any sense. And it's a crime scene. It's basically an attempted murder.
Right.
An attempted murder / like grave robbery.
Right.
And the cops like come, like do a couple interviews and just leave. And then it's her alone again in the fucking morgue.
Question. Don't they have like cameras in this place? Nobody catches anything on camera?
That's okay. So she does. But every time the demon shows up, it's like, you know, like there's some missing frames or something. But she does catch glimpses of it and she tries to show it to people who think she's crazy. And,
well, isn't that the thing is like they try to set up, like I remember it in the trailer, they tried to set up like she was an unreliable
She is because she's an addict.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's part like there's, you know, I mean, it's dumb on every level. Like there's a scene where the demon or whatever, Hannah Grace, I guess, is chasing a woman up a stairwell in the building. Okay. And like she could get off on any floor and like go find another nurse who's working. No, she runs all the way up to the roof. And guess what happens?
She jumps off the edge.
She falls off the fucking roof, and then it's never brought up. Like nobody's like, oh, there's a body, like someone died. It's just she disappears from the movie.
Wait, who is this? The main?
No. Her friend.
Oh,
she disappears from the movie. She might have been in the drawers, maybe.
Can I ask you this? Where did she land when she fell and killed herself?
They didn't show her land. She fell. And they just showed the body fall. She's fucking dead.
She's definitely dead.
This place would be shut down for the night. You had like a murderer break into the morgue. It's just, it is a disaster. It's an F.
Okay.
Disaster of epic proportions.
We have seen some bad movies
That's what we
recently.
Do. It was fucking bad.
What was the one last week that was the F? So Crimes of Grindelwald before that. I remember that.
Was there an F last week?
There was an F last week. I remember.
I don't even remember. I saw so many goddamn movies last week.
So it was Robin Hood.
Yes.
We remembered.
Yeah, remembered.
Yeah, didn't look it up
We
on
don't
our
have
phones
devices
at all.
that we never cheat on this show.
No, this is all live, uncut, unedited. I just sit on this for a full 24 hours before uploading.
If you guys only heard the stuff we cut from the episodes, maybe someday.
Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, Robin Hood this was worse.
Wow.
This was way more of a waste of my time.
How long was this?
Very short, under an hour and a half.
Oh, it gets an F plus for that.
That's your bonus points. That's right.
That's it. Yep.
Dude, it is so bad. And it's funny because it takes everything from these movies. Mm-hmm. Like, it has no originality.
Right.
Like, there was a movie, there was one, like, you think like The Exorcism of Emily Rose there was the one where, there was another morgue one, where basically it was people in a funeral home or whatever, and the same shit went down where like shit's fucked up. I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry, audience. But yeah, it's completely derivative of everything else like this.
Fair enough.
Include the exorcism scene at the beginning is so bad.
The thing that sort of gets me about this is it sounds like it tries to set up a premise in that this is an unreliable narrator, and then it just seems to abandon that altogether. It actually seems like it takes the thing that was like the selling idea in the trailer, which is this really happening or is she imagining it?
No, that's not. Well, and she's not a narrator, so
but you know what I mean.
Main character.
She's your
protagonist.
Yes, your unreliable protagonist.
Right.
Whatever. I mean, it's just the term they use. Unreliable.
Yeah, no,
narrator.
you're right.
But I mean, you've got this actually kind of good idea in that is she nuts or is she not? But it sounds like they just throw it out the window.
No, it has nothing.
Like it literally at the beginning.
Yeah, no, the exorcism is plainly real.
So you've ruined your movie in the first scene.
Well, if that was what they were trying to do, which
I don't understand. I don't understand why you market it in such a way where is she nuts or is she not?
Well,
if that's not like what you're going, you know what I mean?
The movie, as far as she's concerned, I wasn't thinking about that. But
Why
as
were
far
they
as
even
what they tried
introducing
to do, what they tried to do was like she's an addict, so is she losing her shit? Like, but you're right, like she's not.
But if that's see, that's the question: is she losing her shit or not? But you've ruined it.
Oh, I'm just so tired of like the whole, and they do this in a lot of movies where someone thinks they're crazy and they're not crazy, and they have like the fight over, well, you have these pills, like no, you're just you know what I mean? Like,
you know what would make that great is that if you as the audience member at that moment know that they're not, and then at the end of the movie you find out that they are in fact crazy. But that's never the fucking case.
Well, so I would say Hereditary did it pretty well with Toni Collette, because the husband's kind of like, you're fucking nuts.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You felt like that. I felt like it was all real during the whole time.
I'm not even.
Okay.
That aside,
okay.
I'm tired of that conversation.
Oh, right.
Where
right.
And whatever. And I feel like in that movie it kind of made sense. I wasn't convinced it was real at that point, aside from the Ouija board thing.
Right.
That's what broke that for me.
Right.
But
this
movie is no Hereditary.
No. I remember seeing the preview for this when I saw Suspiria, and I was just like, who is this for? Like, this is not the audience.
Oh, my God.
Those who are going to go see Suspiria are not going to go see this movie
You're
at
right.
all.
No. Or they'll be tricked into... I see it, though, because I just like the genre.
Right.
And it's like, okay, there's a horror movie out. I'll go.
But, I mean, I swear to God, I heard people snickering during that preview. I swear.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's a fun one, though.
Okay.
Little departure. Speaking of the audience...
Ooh.
Had some half-hour late entrance.
Ooh.
Sat next to us.
What?
Yes. And would not shut up, would not stop moving. Little kids and their mom, who's on her phone. Like, it was the worst.
Little kids,
crew.
how little? 'Cause this is a rated R movie,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I'd say 8 to 14 maybe or something. 2 kids.
Oh, it sounds like a bad parent.
Well, so I saw this kind of shit when I was 8 because I always just watch this, whatever.
Yeah, but if you're showing up I'm saying
that's the part.
I'm taking all of it into consideration. It's not just
not just that they brought him to an R-rated movie, which we all have our opinions on that, whatever.
Right.
Parent your kids however you want. But one thing I don't want you to do is let them fucking talk and move around during the goddamn movie.
Right.
We moved. We slid down farther, and one of their seats had a broken, the foot, like the recliner was broken. So they slid closer to us. Yeah, it was a classic. And yeah, the woman, I looked over, and it was one of those where like it was distracting me from the movie. Luckily, the movie sucked. But I was looking over to my left, like giving them I couldn't even help myself.
The stink eye?
Yeah, like, you pieces of shit.
Right.
Get out of here.
Right.
I mean,
why? See, it makes, in all honesty, half an hour late makes me think that it's just a sneak in. But it's like,
could have been.
But if you're sneaking in, one, why would you sit next to? I'm assuming this theater was not just jam packed.
No, it was like it was 2 people in the middle of each row. You could have gone. The whole front section was empty.
Right.
Yeah.
The real question is like, I guess why do that even if they were legitimately bought tickets?
I don't know.
I purposefully don't do that because I don't know who I'm going to sit next to.
No, absolutely. Dude, that happened to me at the Harry Potter movie too, where somebody, like, there are seats in this theater. You're alone. Why would you ever purchase a ticket right next to mine? Although it was a really old person, and not to be anti-old people, but maybe they just go up and the guy who's up there picks their ticket. I don't know. But.
I'm going to, since we're already on this topic.
I love this topic.
Of theater viewers. I'm going to piggyback off of your old person comment and say that I really, 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 and I don't want to sound like an ageist, but I really do not understand why old people have such a hard time understanding the way that seats are chosen. Like, there's an alphabetical way and there's a numerical way to pick out your seats, and it literally says like H20, and you just find the seat that says H20 and then you're there.
It's tough.
This was last week and I forgot to bring it up, but during Robin Hood, which, by the way, all old people in that theater, I don't understand what was going on. It was like the Twilight Zone. Like, these people
think it's like a real Robin Hood movie.
Like, they should know better. But anyways, point being, dude shows up like 10 minutes late to the movie, elderly man. He has to make 2 other elderly people move because they're in his seat, which was just hilarious. But I don't understand it. You're 10 minutes late, man. And how do you people all the time end up in the wrong seats?
It happens. It's
bizarre.
It's
all the time. And they're just always like, oh, what seats are we?
Right.
H12.
I always feel like they're trying to get away with it.
Right.
Like, you understand that if you check the map when you bought your ticket, you know that seat is taken and you're going to get caught.
You've made it this far in life. It's like, I used to work at a grocery store, and they say things like, how long do I put this roast in? You're 85. Same way you did it last year for Christmas, for fuck's
4
sake.
decades ago.
Jesus
when you made that
Christ.
roast.
Unbelievable.
But yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's
Done.
enough. No, I mean,
Done.
you hate old people. We understand.
I'm going to be the best old person when I'm old. Because I'm going to play that shit
Well,
up.
I think that we're lucky in the generation we grew up in, we're lucky because, like, there's a generation above us that doesn't get the technology shit.
Right.
Whereas, like, we were brought in right when it started kind of exploding.
Yep.
So we're going to have the benefit of, like, learning from the beginning.
Yeah.
And going through the evolutionary changes. Unless something crazy comes out when we're, like, 70.
Right. This is true.
Then we're fucked.
This is true. I'm just going to live it up, though. I'm going to play ignorant.
But yeah, movie.
Yeah.
What movie? Oh.
Wreck-It Ralph ruins the internet.
Yeah.
Wrecks the internet.
Ralph breaks the internet.
Ralph too. Ralph and all over the place.
We saw this one together.
We did.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I did too. Shockingly. I was not excited for this.
Which is strange because I thought the first one was pretty pretty good, and you said you didn't.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because I have to compare these 3D animated movies to other 3D animated movies.
Fair enough.
So there's a curve there, and I feel like Wreck-It Ralph is one of the lesser that I've seen.
It's certainly no like Life of Pets, which is just awful.
Okay, yes, agreed. That's like one of the worst.
Yeah,
I would say.
And it's no Minions or any shit like that. I haven't
seen those.
It's awful.
You've talked me out of seeing them.
You have to see it.
You told me not to see it.
Okay, well,
what do I have to see?
Okay,
do I need to see Despicable Me or do I need to see Minions?
You should see Minions.
Okay,
because it's truly and utterly atrocious.
All right,
but okay, Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Yeah.
They go to the internet. I mean, what else do you need to know?
No, there's not. Yeah, it's basically about friendship. I mean, it's the classic like buddy comedy where something happens that breaks them apart. And,
right.
Yeah.
And they want to keep their friendship, but they also have their own goals and their own desires. And I mean, in that regard, it's almost thin on message.
It is. It still kind of got me though.
It was nice
as far as like the emotional shit. I was like, kind of getting close to tearing up towards the end.
That was that score.
Oh, you think so?
Henry Jackman. Dude who did Winter Soldier.
But the key to this movie are all the fun little internet references.
Unbelievable.
That are just so creative and funny.
Oh my God. I mean, when they actually first get to the internet,
yes,
it's fantastic because of all the logos. I mean, there's that bit where he looks at Google and he's like, I guess we know where we're going to go if we need some goggles.
Yeah, right.
It's
just
good.
Dumb stuff like that. Well, and the way they did like people, like the avatars of people who are using the computers.
Fantastic.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pop-ups.
The pop-ups. Yeah. So like everything's represented by like a character or a thing. So like the pop-ups are like those people you see on the street who are trying to sell you shit with like the sign or whatever.
Yeah.
And then if people have like a pop-up blocker, it's like a little Secret Service agent little
He's
guy.
Like, get out of here, pal.
Yeah, right.
Bill Hader plays one of the pop-ups.
Ah, okay.
And he was just great because he's like, hey, want to make some money on video games?
Right.
Pal.
It's like the exact pop-up you've seen.
Yep.
Like they go to eBay.
Yep.
And it's like auctions happening.
That was a great bit where they keep on like, they think it's like name a high number.
Yes.
That's
because
how the game works.
They're dumber than fuck.
Yeah.
Well, which you have to just...
No exposure to video. They're literally video game characters.
Yeah, they're high score. That's all it is to them. Good point.
I love... there are some great bits of animation in this where there's like a character who has like a tavern or whatever, or a bar, and they've got like these like old school spritey kind of movements to them.
It's the root beer game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Just it's that attention to detail that you don't see and say, oh, I don't know, Illumination Studios.
Oh.
Not throwing any shade.
Throwing some shade at Illumination. Another one that I know you mentioned that I like too was like they go to like a Grand Theft Auto style like video game, online video game.
Yeah.
And there's people like kids are playing the game and their characters are like sliding around like,
like how you would like it's kind of like that thing where like you see somebody who doesn't know how to play a video game and they just run in circles over and over.
Yeah.
It's like that bit. Or I love the fact that their faces don't emote as much as like the video game characters, which is just,
it's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like their mouth just
the
literally moves.
NPCs move a lot, but when you're playing like a first person shooter, you're seeing everything else. You don't even see yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Gal Gadot. Gadot. Sorry, Gal Gadot.
Let's get it right.
Yeah, let's get it right. She plays a character in this. She's one of the drivers in that game.
Okay.
I thought she was fine.
Yeah, it was. She wasn't taking what she was doing seriously, you could tell.
There was a particular line in which I was like, wow, there was almost no emotion in that, in which, let's just, okay, sorry, we do this every time. What's your grade?
B+. I liked it.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
I'll probably go with B+ also.
Okay.
A little thin on narrative near the end.
It made me laugh my ass off like the whole way through.
Funny as fuck.
Third act is kind of bad.
Third act is weak, which actually brought it down for me from probably was a B+ to it's just a B.
You're on such a high.
Yeah.
And then the movie gets serious.
Yep.
And there's a thing that happens in a big like action, whatever, where I wasn't laughing at all.
Yeah. Yep. It did the comedy thing where it's like, oh wait, we have to like have a message now.
Right.
And it falls apart because of that. But B, fine, good, spoilers. So Gal Gadot, when he releases that virus, like it's all crashing down. And he's trying to save Penelope or whatever. And he's trying to grab her under the rubble. And she's like, she has to get out of here now, Ralph.
Is she played by Tommy Wiseau?
Oh, well, I guess. I am American citizen,
Apparently, Alex's Gal Gadot and Tommy Wiseau impressions, same person.
Same person, that's fine. Both
Tommy
national treasures.
Wiseau as Wonder Woman.
That movie makes a Billy.
But yeah, no, I agree. Well, there was a lot of stuff where it's just like, I hate doing this because, like, you know, she's foreign.
Right.
She's got an accent.
I understood her completely throughout the movie, but
it seems to work for like,
right.
you know, Wonder Woman, and it works for like the Fast and Furious movies. Something about it though, it felt like someone was just like reading all their lines in 45 minutes and they were just done with the movie.
Right.
That's how it seemed to me.
Right.
Whereas the other two characters, John C. Reilly or whatever his name is, and Sarah Silverman are very into what they're doing.
Yes,
and it's clear.
Yeah, I mean, I liked like the Search Guy. Search Guy was great. He's got some good bits in it. What else is there? Oh, the big part that I was truly and completely worried about was the Disney website one,
which was great.
It ended up being one of the best parts of the movie.
Probably was the best thing in the movie.
It probably was.
It was great. With the princesses, and then like the Marvel stuff gets brought. There's a Star Wars bit, and it's all used like very intelligently.
The jokes were great.
Yes.
Like legitimately great jokes in this. And not just the Disney stuff, not Marvel, DC, or Star Wars, but I mean like the jokes about the internet were pretty fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I loved when he goes to, what do they call it? ZooTube or whatever, or ZoomTube or whatever. And he like makes like, and I'm a sucker for this because like I'm just a sucker for this, but the screaming goat.
Yes.
I'm just a sucker for...
So the plot is basically that they accidentally bid a shit ton on this part that's needed to fix Penelope's game back in the arcade that they live at.
Yep.
And they need to make money somehow, and they end up basically like he ends up using viral videos to try and make money on, what was it, ZooTube, whatever,
ZoomTube or something.
Must have been like the only thing they couldn't get. Huh?
Actually, YouTube was in there. The icon was, but I think they couldn't like afford to make it a part of the story.
But yeah, they basically a woman runs like the show, and he's got to do all these like viral video things.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's like cat videos shown prominently,
right?
And people are walking around like liking it, and the way they do, like they have to go get people to go to the video.
Yes, that was great.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And I really loved what it said, sort of like, this is a good movie to show your young kids about the internet and teach them about being online etiquette, all this stuff, because you know, he sees the comments and it's like, rule number one, never read the comments.
That was good.
That was really good.
Yeah.
But also it was this great thing of like, oh, you can make money on the internet. You can, but you have to completely debase yourself.
Right. It's true.
Which was the whole point of like him going on YouTube, which is, as somebody who has tried to find success on YouTube, you realize you're always chasing trends and you're always chasing the algorithm, and the desire to make actually good, thought-provoking content really isn't there. He just made stupid shit that people were like, you share it at the...
Well, and he was like an old character that everybody knew. Yeah, it was...
Yes, it had the nostalgia. So it was great. It said a lot, actually, about the internet. I was not expecting
the internet shit was great. I went into this thinking like, okay, it'll probably be like the first one, like a C. Yeah. Because that's how when I left the first one, and I like these 3D, you know, animated movies, whatever. Right. When I left the first one, I was like, damn, I thought that was going to be way better, because I like video games. Like I thought it looked like Rampage.
Right.
You know, like I was excited.
Right.
And it wasn't as good as I'd hoped. I liked the bits with like Zangief and shit too.
Yes. That was one of the greatest bits at the beginning. I mean, I'm just going to relive the bit because I can't help it. But the whole like, so do you think he shaves?
Yeah, does he wax? Does he wax? Yeah.
And he's like, well, no, because he's got that hair tuft. And then she's like, yeah, but you get down to the hair coming out of the boots. That's a desired look. And I was like, that's great.
Yeah, perfect.
That was great. I mean, it was good. It was a good movie. I would probably give the original a B too.
Oh,
So,
really? Yeah, no, see, not me. I like this way more than the first one.
That's cool. But yeah, I think that's the end of the episode. We didn't really go into too much in depth on that.
I mean, there's not much to say.
There's not much to say. It has great jokes.
It's funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the end of the episode, I think.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.